Hi, welcome back. So today's topic on audit is quality controls. So this is relatively a very small topic. It will not take much time, but it is equally important for you to understand what is quality control and how it is important in an organization. So firstly, it's the client's responsibility, management's responsibility to maintain and to go to adhere the professional standards and maintain the quality control in the company. uh, Under quality controls comes the proper guidance, proper standards, laws and regulations, uh, proper controls are in the place or not. So all this comes under the quality control, and it is the management's responsibility to keep an eye, keep check on all these. So there are independent audit committee, internal audit committee, all of these are present in the organization to have the regular checks on the quality control of the organization. So what are the elements of the system quality control? So there are basically six main areas in the quality control, elements of the quality control, and all those are: first is tone at the top, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of the client relationship and specific engagements, human resources, monitoring, engagement performance. We will understand all these points in detail, but you have to remember that these six are the elements of the quality control. Again, I am repeating the points. First one is tone at the top, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationship, human resources, monitoring, and engagement performance. So let's go through it in detail. So first one was tone at top. So it means that leadership's responsibility for the quality within the firm, TCWG, and top management's responsibility to maintain the quality control in the firm. So basically, tone at the top establishes the policies, means to establish the policies and procedures designed to promote the internal culture based on the recognition of the quality essential in performing the engagements. So it basically establishes the policies and procedure to provide a reasonable assurance that any person assigned to the operational responsibility of firm system by the quality control has a sufficient and appropriate experience and ability and necessary authority to assume. So basically, top management maintains the tone at the leadership quality, and he or she establishes the policy and procedures, and a proper segregation of duties is given to each employees depending on their experiences, expertise, and everything. So it's the top management responsibility to look after all this to maintain the quality control in a company. Second one is ethical requirements, which also means independence. So ethical requirements means to establish the policies and procedures to provide a reasonable assurance that independence is maintained when required by the ethical requirements. So here it's both the parties' responsibility, like clients as well as auditors' responsibility to stay independent throughout the period. Clients should also not give the leverage uh, uh, anything to the auditor, and auditor should also not take leverage of any personal leverage from the client, which may harm their independence. So it's both of a responsibility to be skeptic throughout the audit, to maintain their independence, to not to be lured by any external factors which may give the personal benefit to any of the parties. Acceptance and continuance of the client relationship and specific engagements. So here it means to establish the policies and procedure to provide the reasonable assurance that the relationship or engagement will be accepted only when the firm is competent and has capabilities to perform the engagement, can comply with the legal and relevant ethical requirements, and has considered the client's integrity. So it's auditor's duty to check the integrity of the client, to check the competence and capabilities of the client, and to have the background verification of the legal and relevant ethical requirements. Though it's firm responsibility to maintain it throughout the period, but auditor should, before accepting the engagement, needs to check that this all these three factors are properly implied in the client side or not. Human resources. So here it means to establish the competent capabilities and commitment to the ethical principles necessary, such as uh, necessary qualifications are seen while recruiting or hiring the personnel. The requirement in the company, like if there is any relevant vacancy, then only they are hired. Performance evaluation is done, proper interviews are taken, and a proper evaluation is done without any biasness. All these are considered, and this is the responsibility of the human resources to have the quality check before hiring any employees, before having any personnel on board. Monitoring here involves consideration and evaluation of the firm's system of the quality control, including inspection or periodic review of the engagement documentation, reports, clients, financial statement, all these. Qualified individuals should perform the monitoring process, and a partner should assume responsibility for the monitoring process. So here monitoring involves all these three process, which basically is the context for the quality control, that it is again monitored and it is in proper place or not throughout the period. At last is the engagement performance. So here auditor should see the matters relevant to promoting consistency in the quality of the engagement performance, supervision responsibilities like we discussed in the previous chapter, and the review responsibilities. So all these engagement performance are the responsibilities of the auditor to check and to gain the reasonable assurance on the quality control. So here this was all about the quality control, but one thing also we should keep in mind is the peer review. So firms are required to have the peer review once every 3 years, and the peer review is conducted by independent evaluator who are known as peer reviewer. So that is reviewed, the review is administered by the approved body, like proper approved body. Also, there are two types of peer reviews. One is a system review and another is engagement review. System review focus on the firm system of the quality control, and the second one, engagement review, focus on the work performed on the selected engagements. So two types of peer reviews are there, and system review, engagement review, and both are defined as per their names only, not a complicated one. So this was all about the quality controls that the entity should maintain, and auditors should audit and give provided reasonable assurance on that. So it's the both parties responsibility, and client should maintain throughout the period, and auditor should verify that it has been maintained or not throughout the period. Again, the peer review is done to the firms that are auditing, and that is done by the independent body, independent peer reviewer certified by the body. And there are two types of peer review: system review and engagement review. Engagement review where peer review again further reviews the engagement reviewed by the auditor, whereas system review the quality checks are done, quality controls are verified. So in short, the conclusion was this only. I hope you all understood, and let me know if you have any queries in the comment box. Thank you. Bye.